Hello and welcome to the At Matters podcast presented by the Outer Loop Theater Experience, where we create art that matters. And this, on the At Matters podcast, we like to explore the question of purpose and what are we here to do. This is a very special episode because we are on location today in Tanzania with a very special guest. My name is Rachel Yoder. I'm the artistic director of the Outer Loop Theater Experience. And who are you?
My name is Jackson Kankibona. I'm an artist, a filmmaker, and also the director for education. Outer.
Yes, you are. Yes. Very exciting. So we're really excited to have you on today because especially people who have been following the Humanity Project work for a while are aware of you, but maybe haven't had the opportunity like we all have to have a longer conversation with you, get to know you a little better. So it's exciting for everybody who's been following our work. And it's exciting for anybody listening to this podcast who hasn't been following our work because you're an exciting person to talk to. So I'm excited to share you with a wider audience.
Thank you very much.
But before that,
yes,
we have to start with 5 things. 5 things, yes. It's our favorite game. This is what we like to start with. It's a game that comes from improv. So I'm going to throw you a category. I'm going to say 5 things and then you're just going to give me the first 5 things that come to mind. And the whole point is no thinking. So just the first 5 things. And then you can throw me a category and I will give you the first 5 things.
Okay.
You ready?
Just give it a shot.
Okay. I'm going to you first. Jackson,
yes.
5 things that you wish more people knew about Tanzania.
It's a peace-loving nation. Peace-loving nation, home of the highest freestanding mountain in the world, which is the Mount Kilimanjaro, and one of the most beautiful national parks, which is the Serengeti. And besides that, we've got and it's also Tanzania is also, the first country in East Africa to have a female president. And besides that, we also have, the 5 thing is, it is also home to the world's second largest game reserve, which is the Selous National Park.
5 things. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
All right. My turn in the hot seat.
Okay, 5 things when you are on the Humanity Project in Tanzania.
5 things that
you do, or 5 things that come to your mind whenever you think of the Humanity Project in Tanzania.
5 things that come to mind when I think of the Humanity Project in Tanzania. Friends.
Yes.
Community. Being very tired. Working very hard.
Exactly.
Sharing experiences.
Yes.
And being surprised.
That was a lot better than I did. Nice.
It's hard. It's hard to think about that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Everything that you said is right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, very good. That is a nice transition into what we want to talk about today, which is we first just want to start with the question of how do we know each other? How do you and I know each other? For those listening who don't know.
Okay, I think me and Rachel knew each other through Mr. Michael Hammond. That was in 2017, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I met Mr. Michael Hammond in 2016 on a project that was organized by Dramatic Adventure Theatre. So he was working as one of the directors, and we got along well on camp. So later on, I remember he told me, someday I'll come. Okay, he said something like that. Someday I'll come. So I was not very, very sure whether he was going to come. So in 2016 at the end, was it 2016 at the end or early 2017, told me I'm coming with my wife. That was like, oh wow, you're coming with your wife. Then me and Jackie, who I believe some people have been following the Humanity Project, they know her very well. Jackie and I left Dar es Salaam to come and join Mr. Michael in Selous. And that was like my first time coming to Selous because the group that I worked with went to the north, which was a different path, and Mr. Michael was working in the south. So went there, and then at Mbugani Guest House, within the heart of Bloka Village, that's where I met you, and that is how you and I became brothers and sisters, starting from there to now. Yes.
Yes, that fateful day.
Yes.
I forgot about Mbugani Guest House.
Oh, we're gonna get started.
So you're saying
it. Stepped out. And then Mr. Mike called, we were hugging. Then later on, there was just something about the hug that you gave me. It was so passionate, as though we had already met, but that was just the first time. And then little did I know that it was going to become this like brother-sister bond that we're going to have. So like whenever I see you, the way we get along, I just feel like you're my blood sister, regardless of the fact that we may have different skin colors. Yeah,
I feel the same.
Yes, and I appreciate you.
And I did feel that way from the first time that we met. It was just like it was already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son. And you've been my joking mate. You see this way.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit more about the so that was late 2016, early 2017.
Yes.
And then the journey that the Humanity Project has taken thus far, you know, and our kind of journey continuing to work together over the last 8 years, 7, 8 years.
Would you come again?
Over the last 7, 8 years. Yeah.
Oh, how the journey has been.
Yeah. And how the journey has evolved.
Okay, the journey has what can I say? I remember should be 2 days ago, if not a day ago, I was telling Mr. Michael, just looking at the progress that we've made as a humanity project. We've progressed so much. I remember when we used to stay at HQ and now we are at Africa Safari. That is a sign of the massive progress that we've made. So how it started in 2016, like sometimes we used to get hands-on, helping with the construction of the first ever labor ward in Moka village. Remember, I used to be part of it. We could dig sand from the pit and then fill the foundation so that the construction should be able to proceed to the next stage. And then afterwards, we worked on a number of projects, the wells, in collaboration with the Africa World Fund at Moka Primary School, within the village, at close to Babu Sanga's place, and then the other place that is close to the filling station. And then we also have worked on a well on the what do you call it, health center, the local health center. And we've also worked on wells in Sona. And within the locality of subsection of Sona village, the water has been helping people. And then we are going to work on the art center very soon, which is very, very exciting. It's even bigger because I'm an artist. I know it's going to touch artist directory. And what else have we been doing? Yeah, we've done a number of things. We've got the scholarship, you see.
The market.
Yeah, the market in Sona village and the irrigation project. We've done so much and we keep growing as an organization. So, and that warms my heart to see how much that is impacting and touching people's lives whenever we go to do documentaries and talk to those people. They'll tell you how horrific their lives were before the health center. Some of them, the challenges of not having the market, selling food in the streets. And, you know, because most of the villages that we work with are just, what can I say, they are in the national park. They're within the national park, separated by very few kilometers. So, and that doesn't even, what can I say, animals are not aware of the fact that there's a boundary between the village and the national park, so they're just moving around, you see. So as they move around, sometimes they meet these people. Some of them were attacked, some of them lost their lives in the process, others were injured. But having a place where people can trade freely without even having the concerns of thinking that something dangerous is going to happen to me, it is something that is great. Food security, the irrigation project that is coming up very soon, abundant resources where land is concerned and water, but the scarcity of food, which was what can I say? It's a sad situation, a sad scenario. That's what I can say. But now that we work together with them, and then one of the artists said, "Okay, I think setting up this project is going to troubleshoot the challenge of food scarcity." So you can imagine how many lives it's going to impact, create a lot of jobs, ensure that there's security of food, and also increase revenue generations within the village, and also improve the lives of those who will be involved. We also have artists working on that. So yeah, so much has happened.
Yes, true. Yeah. So you mentioned that the first Humanity Project trip was the first time that you had been to Salou. Where do you come from? What's your journey been before you even met us? Where did you come from, and how did you kind of get to where you are?
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah. So, my parents are originally from Mbeya, Mbeya, which is the southern part of Tanzania. We are Ndalis by tribe, both my mother and father. But later on, my parents moved to Zambia to go and do business. Okay, so that's why they do some of their businesses. So as they move to Zambia, you know, it's spontaneous that you move with your children. So they moved with us, and then I was raised most of my primary life in Zambia, starting from childhood until I became a teenager. I've lived most of my life in Zambia. And then my passion for art later on is what made me tell my parents that I want to go back home. They think there is a very good space or platform for me to be able to practice art on a grand scale. And then at first there was some resistance. Later on they said, okay, my son, if that's what you want, no problem, we'll give you all the blessings. So I came to Tanzania Film Training Center. That's where I came to study script writing and acting for film as well as filmmaking. So afterwards, after training, and that was meaning I had to move from Lusaka, which is the capital city of Zambia, to Mbeya, which is my village, and then Dar es Salaam, that's where the institution was. And then I became based in Dar es Salaam. That's where I did my education, started practicing my art, and it is in Dar es Salaam through a fellow student at the college where I went to, is the one who connected me to the project of Dramatic Adventure Theatre, where I went to do an interview, and they were happy with the interview that I did. They put me on board as one of the road managers for their project in 2016, and it was on that project where the blessing of meeting Mr. Michael came through, and then that opened the gateway for me to the Humanity Project. Yes.
That's quite the journey.
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I that's interesting. So you mentioned that you know, there was a little bit of resistance to when you first spoke of your dreams to become an artist.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? How did that is it, you know, do you think that stems from you know, cultural background, or how did that kind of manifest?
I think that stems from my cultural background. You see, in the society in which I was raised, to a very large scale, nobody gives an artist a chance. Okay, so the resistance that I was getting from my parents, it was not coming from a bad place. I knew that it was coming from the place of love and security. They just wanted to make sure that I did something that was secure for me, because they did not hear so many stories about successful actors or someone who made it in life and they're doing very well, who was an artist or an actor. So like they were concerned that our son, and the fact that I'm the firstborn in our family. I'm like, you know, in African families, we believe that the firstborn is like the direction of the family. If it goes in the right path, and that means the rest of those siblings who are coming behind are going to follow suit as well. So it's like me going in the world that is like uncharted territory for my family, or my culture at large was like, so how do we let our first son go in the world that is unknown, the world that we don't know? And the fact that my parents are not educated, like they don't have so much education, so that became a concern for them. This is why they were resisting. But later on, I thank them very much, and I love my parents. They said, okay, if that is what you love, and that's what you want to do, fine, okay, just go and do it. So sometimes I was also using reference of one famous actor, one of like the best actors to ever come out of this country, who is now late by now, may he so rest in eternal peace, Stephen Charles Kanumba. He was doing very well, so I had some DVDs, and I used to go and buy a lot of DVDs, and they loved his movies at all. Yes, like my father was a fan, my mother was a fan, my extended family were all fans. So most of the times, I could say, whenever they became so hard on me, or like, you know, Stephen Charles Kanumba, maybe someday I'll be like him, or even more. So then later on, I said, okay, fine, if that's what you want to do, just go. Yeah. And that was the beginning of my journey.
That's interesting. So his movies kind of helped them see the path a little bit more.
The possibilities.
The possibilities.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. So then they were in full support, and then you've been pursuing an
Exactly.
artistic career ever since.
Yes, they have been in full support in as much as pastures are yet to be green for me. Like, let's say, to make a breakthrough economically, they've been supporting me. Supported me with tuition fees, dormitories, food, and everything that I was doing. Later on, after finishing, in as much as the limited opportunities, if I wanted to work on maybe on a short film, I don't have budget. When I reach out to them, they'll support me. Even now, sometimes they'll ask me, "How is it going, my son?" It's like, I'm pushing. I'm working very hard. I can see light at the end of the tunnel coming. It's like, okay, just keep placing, my son. You just have to work very hard. Someday God is going to make a way. So hearing such words from family, it means a lot, in as much as moments at times can be dark sometimes. So, but if you hear that, it becomes like a support system that helps you to cruise through the darkness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm, familiar with the challenges that come with being an artist in the US, and that's its own specific set of challenges. But, having spent some time here, there are a whole different set of challenges
right.
that you have here. So can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the specific challenges that you face as an artist working in Tanzania?
Oh, the challenges that we face is like limited opportunities. Okay, the industry is not super structured as compared to in advanced industries, where they say even if you're fresh or a newcomer, it's very easy for you to break even. So there's so many gatekeepers, or there's so many holes, people are like resisting you without even giving you a chance. Like, you do something that you've done, then when you try to present it to them, without even them saying, they're like, oh, you're not known, you're not famous, so it's hard. Sometimes maybe there is a part that you can do very well, you believe that I'm confident I can do this better, but because you don't have a big brand, someone who is outside the industry of acting will be picked over you who is from the industry of acting. Sometimes it's very challenging and disappointing. But why am I being left out? And sometimes you can even tell that what is going on is not right. Like, this person can literally do the job that you're imposing on him. Why don't you just give me that opportunity and see? Who knows, if you don't give me that chance, that'll be the next big thing. If you don't take a chance on me, then that means who will? So those are some of the challenges that we face. But despite that, we're working very hard. Even funding as well is a challenge. We don't have studios where you can go and pitch your idea and then someone releases the funds for you to be able to go and do. So most of the stuff that we do is self-funding. But it's only in circumstances and situations where when you've got lovely friends like the Humanity Project, likes of Late Show, Michael, come on board to support me. You guys have been supporting me on countless times, and my family as well. They try in Telebo Basin, as much as we don't come from a family that is very, very economically mighty, but they try in their smallest way to help me so that my dream someday should become a reality. Yeah.
You were talking about the being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I've certainly seen bits of your journey along the way, bits of your artistic journey, some of your projects. And can you talk a little bit about your latest project and where you're trying to go with that endeavor, or talk a little bit about that light at the end of the tunnel and where you see your path?
Okay, so the light at the end of the tunnel is there's some projects that we've worked on in the past, some feature films, and then when they were given a chance on some of these big networks, like the sort of rapturous reception that we got, the feedback was very, very positive. People were like, oh man, why don't they give you a chance? Your movies are nice. We should see more of this, you see. And other stuff, surprisingly, it's a movie that we assumed in our own imagination that this movie is just like it's like one of our best stuff that we've done. Yeah, it's that. But to the surprise that when it went on one of the biggest networks in this country, it has become like their favorite movie. They keep showing it, keep showing it, they keep showing it, keep showing it. It's like, so it's all because these gatekeepers are shutting us out. Only if they had access to stuff that we have, because we still have some of those stuff they're yet to be shown, which we believe that they're better than what they've been holding on to, believing that, oh, this is like one of the great things. And the fans go to their social media and say, okay, we want to have a repeat of that movie, let it be shown again. a bit of that movie, let it be shown again, and it has been shown a number of times.
Hmm.
So that tells me that if given a chance, the light is
works.
coming. Yeah. So and we've also worked on our latest project, which was financed by Mike and Rachel. Yes, it's titled Nyasa. It's a new TV series which has got 20 episodes, and we've taken it to a TV channel, which is one of the biggest networks, and another network, about 3 networks we've taken it to. So we're just waiting for feedback. And I believe that if the feedback comes through positively, if those people are not going to, let's say, like push us out, just give us a chance, and then our work should be on their platform. I believe that is going to open more doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So how does that work with the the one that's been shown multiple times? Is there like a structure where you get residuals from that, or you just sold it once and then they own the rights to it, or how does that structure work?
So like here is, you don't get residuals, let's say, every time it's shown.
Okay.
So like let's say you give them the rights to show it on their platform, and then you sign a contract with them. Okay, it to be shown on their platform for maybe 1 year or 2 years maybe, and then they're going to show it. Then if they want to renew that contract, that's when they call you. Okay, I want to have this contract renewed. That is how it works. But most of the time it's a one-off deal. Once you sign, you're done. But they don't stop you from distributing it on other platforms. So you can take it on that platform. So, and then most of the times, us who are, let's say, who are upcoming actors, so like in our industry, another challenge is like because of how hard it has become for someone who is an underground to get an opportunity to a chance on a great platform. So we work so hard to build the brand so that we should have a negotiating power later on the future projects. So like you just want access to the audience. Once the audience knows you, then later on these other opportunities can come, because that is what they've been using as a weapon against us. So are freshers, like, oh no, the audience doesn't know you, so how are we going to pay you a lot of money? Why should we give you a reading role if you're not known? Stuff like that. So like at the end of the day, we sacrifice. It's like part of the investment. I'm going to sacrifice for adding, creating content so they should know me. Once I am known, that means I've got a brand, and that brand to put me in a position to be able to negotiate terms that are very fair, terms that are going to be a win-win situation on both sides. So that is what we've been doing, and that's what we did with the other project. That's what we're going to do with this project, and it's why I told you that I see light at the end of the tunnel, because I believe once that project goes out, I think it will be a different conversation later. Yeah.
Very good.
Sand.
So how do you? I'm curious. Well, first, 2 questions. First question. Do you prefer, so you mentioned, you studied both filmmaking and acting for the camera. Do you prefer one side of the camera to the other? What do you feel is, the most called to do?
Okay. I love storytelling. Yes, I love storytelling. I love acting. And I also love writing. But I write because I want to write what I want to see. Sometimes because I realized let's say if you want to see change in a certain space, there is a saying that says you should be the change that you want to see. So let's say sometimes, like back in the days, maybe we'd complain about certain stories, this story, why is this, so on and so forth. And then I believe I've got the gift for storytelling as well. It's like, okay, well, then why don't I just learn how to tell those stories in a film format? That's why I went to study scripting. And this is why, like, I don't write commercially, like I write for other people, so on and so forth. Like, if there's something that I want to make, then I'm going to put it on paper. And then put the cameras there so that we should be able to tell that story should go out. Yes, and so this one.
So you mentioned you like to write because you want to write the stories that you're interested in seeing. What are the kinds of stories that you want to see?
Oh, there's so many stories. Yeah. I love stories.
Okay.
Yes. I love stories. And I also love telling stories that inspire people. Okay, stories that are life changing. I don't want to write stories just for the sake of writing. I want to write a story that can impact people's lives positively. Yeah. Yes.
I think that feeds into my next question, which is, so if I asked you, if I maybe met you on the street or in an elevator or something, and I asked you to tell me, you told me you were an artist, and I asked you to tell me, what is your purpose? What do you feel is your purpose as an artist? How would you answer that question?
I would say my purpose as an artist is to impact people's lives positively. Yeah. Like I just want to touch lives. Yeah. So in ways, I believe art is very, very powerful. And indeed, art is very powerful. It's very unfortunate that the world underrates art. You see, art is so, so powerful. Then I think actually storytelling should be one of the most powerful things that we have. You see, and this is why, because I knew that storytelling is very powerful. I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm a Christian, and practicing Christian since childhood, and both of my parents are practicing Christians. But I realized that whenever I go to church, when the pastor starts telling a story, like everyone is so engrossed compared to any other moment, because they just want to hear how the story goes, you see. And most sermons that are stringed together with a story, they go a long way. Yeah, they like, people, once they remember that story, they remember that sermon. Unlike, let's say, if a preacher or maybe someone just does a sermon without touching it with a story. So that also helped me with the realization that storytelling is very powerful. And even the world of business, we also love reading about business. Like, let's say, if you go to pitch to investors and then you put it in a way of storytelling, it's more powerful. And the chances of you getting investment are higher than when you just go there, like, let's say, you're flat. So that continues to remind me of the fact that storytelling is very, very powerful. And this is why I want to impact people's lives. Sometimes write a story that is going to inspire someone, maybe to do something that is very good. Okay, so, and I don't know where that story is going to meet that person. I may be alive, maybe I may be long dead by then, but that story is going to change them. And if it changes that person, if they go and do maybe their respective purpose or anything they're going to do, it's going to save so many people out there. So that means I've made my contribution to the world, and this is why my interest is. Yeah, yes.
Well, I can speak from experience that knowing you and knowing your story, and every time that we get to see each other, you both inspire me and change me as a person. So I think I would say you're already living out your purpose. And I, that is hope that you would continue to do so, because you are a powerful storyteller. You do have a gift for storytelling, and the way that you phrase your thoughts, the way that you think about the world, the way that you process the world, and the way that you share that experience with other people is a very powerful thing. It's a very inspiring thing. It's a very artful thing. It's a very artful way that you express yourself. And I feel very lucky to have gotten to spend time with you, and you've impacted my life in a huge way.
Rachel, Santi sana.
Thank
you very much. That is so, so powerful. I don't know how to put that in words. Yeah, but Santi sana.
Yes. I can't possibly say anything more wonderful than the way that you expressed your purpose as an artist. So I think that's a good place for us to wind down. I think that's a lot for me to think about and a lot for our audience to think about. But in closing, we always like to just ask every guest that we have on the podcast if there's maybe a call to action that you'd like to leave our listeners with. So is there anything that you'd like for our listeners to take away and do from this conversation?
A call to action for our listeners. What is the call to action? What I'd like them to do? For the Humanity Project, or just in general?
Just in general.
I think a call to action would be like, we should all strive to be good humans, to be kind-hearted, because so much is going on in this world. And once there's peace, love, and happiness, and that means the rest of the things can follow. Because I believe you may be a very wealthy person, you may have all these other material things, but if you don't have peace, love, and happiness, then they all mean nothing. So we should try our level best. Remember last time at that conversation where I reluctance. I used the word reluctance, and then he corrected me. He said we should be vigilant. Yeah, we should be vigilant of ourselves. You know, Nelson Mandela said, "No one was born hating someone. We just learn that." And how? It is because we are not vigilant enough. When they say those bad thoughts come to us, steering us in a direction to do something that is very bad, we should actively work very hard to resist them, because the instant we become reluctant, they overpower us. And once they overpower us, we normalize that and we think as if it's something that is normal. It is not normal. Came with nothing and we'll live with nothing. Yeah, I think that is what I would say.
Very good. Stay vigilant.
Yes.
Excellent. If you have thoughts on that as you are listening or watching, please email us. We would love to hear from you. You can email us at podcast@outerlooptheater.org. Also, a reminder to please follow us on all social media platforms. We release new episodes of this podcast every Thursday, wherever you get your podcasts. So you can check that out. And any final thoughts? Any final thoughts as we wrap up this episode? Anything you want to say to the people out there?
Anything that I want to say is out there. If you've been following this episode, I am under the assumption that you're aware of the Humanity Project and the different fundraisers that we do. These fundraisers go a long way. So please, if you're in that position, make that contribution so that you can impact a life in Lulo, Tanzania, and change someone's life. That is all I can go for.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. You can do that on our website, outerlooptheater.org. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye. Sante.
Sante.
Yeah.